New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Global Thought Today. This is my favorite guest of all time. She's my teacher, she's my friend, she's my mentor, she's my model. She is magnificent. You're going to love her. She's one of my favorite people on the face of the earth, Reverend Dr. Michelle Wadleigh. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about her. She is an inspiring and exciting coach, a master teacher, speaker, workshop, and retreat facilitator. She's the co-founder of Planned Happiness Institute. Now, who could not get behind Planned Happiness Institute? Don't you just want to run out and grab some? And the PHI coach. She is a PHI Coaching Academy co-founder with her husband, Reverend Neil Pinkman. She founded the Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey 20 years ago and continues to serve as spiritual leader. She is an incredibly unique, practical teacher who is passionate about you mastering a fully expressed life. She's grounded in solid metaphysical principles and brings to her teachings a wide open heart with a sense of humor joyfully demonstrated through her laughter and her engaging style. And that's the truth. Her focus as a teacher is empowering others for their own spiritual and emotional liberation through the application of practical tools and methods, including the science of mind. She's a straight shooter who calls things as she sees them while using her easygoing personal style. Michelle brings a wealth of experience from having helped thousands of people to experience greater transformation in their lives. Some of the lessons that she brings everywhere are everything is consciousness, consciousness first, consciousness always, and there is no other. Michelle has spent years developing her courses in forgiveness, shadow work, and perfecting her unique approach to working with individuals called the Radical Release Method. She is the author of 4 books, Prosperous Me, 40 Days to Freedom, a Lenten Practice for the Modern World, May Silence Be Your Guide, and the new one's coming out in just a couple of weeks. It's called Forgiveness, a Path, a Promise, a Way of Life, and it's a workbook for emotional and spiritual freedom. Please welcome Reverend Dr. Michelle Wadleigh, my dear, dear friend.
Oh, thank you. Good morning or good afternoon. Well, good morning some places, good afternoon others. Yeah. Well, there's an extra D in my name. That's okay. Double D's. Oops. That was loud on
Oh gosh, that was fun.
Sharri.
So how are you today? Are you having a wonderful day? Is there big news about your son? Because I think that's exciting.
Oh yes, I have my third son is just got engaged. So for the next 2 years, because they're not getting married till 2024, the next 2 years are going to be filled with conversations around wedding planning. And since I'm the groom's mother, I don't have much to do, but I'll be a good support and help them when invited to. But they're a lovely family he's marrying into. So, and the truth is that the families are different in lovely ways. So we bring new things to each other. And as far as I'm concerned, when you're somebody who moves in the world in the terms of spirituality, metaphysics, and being conscious, that wherever you go, you're creating and teaching by modeling and by example, right? So, I get to be that everywhere, and now I get to be that in a whole new family, which is, just lovely. I'm looking
Well,
forward to the whole thing.
I think being the mother of the groom is having your cake and eating it too. You get all the fun, and you don't have to do all the work.
This is true, and since I've only had three sons, that I've had that a number of times now. So it's
Yeah, you lucked out seriously. So, you are, I guess, what I would call a twofer minister, because you are the spiritual leader of a center.
a what?
But
Wait,
you
a what minister?
twofer, like a two for the price of one.
Okay, I thought you said cheaper.
Because you also have, no. Because you also have a focused ministry.
Yep.
And I Planned Happiness Institute. I mean, if I didn't know anything about it, I would fall in love with it just for the name. So tell me, first of all, what drew you to develop a focused ministry when you already had a whole center that you were running for all these years, and writing books and raising kids and being a mother of the groom?
Oh, wow. Well, it's funny because I guess I was thinking about coming on here the other night as I was going to sleep, and I was thinking about the term Planned Happiness Institute. See, the Planned Happiness Institute was the organization and the spiritual organization that I grew up in. That was where I received my initial influence into metaphysics, hypnosis, spirituality, healing, wholeness, and consciousness. My spiritual teacher, her name was, I say was because she passed many years ago now, Reverend Dr. Rita Sperling. And the thing I love to tell people is that she was ordained by the Reverend Dr. Irvin Seal. And not everybody knows who Irvin Seal was, but he was a classic metaphysician. He was part of the Church of Truth, and his initial claim to fame was that he translated the first Quimby manuscripts. So he was deep into that stuff. And he wrote one of the most beautiful translations of the Lord's Prayer, which was his thesis and how he got his doctorate. So my roots in metaphysics are deep. It's the only thing I've known. The reason why we opened Planned Happiness Institute was because it gave me the freedom to do some things that didn't quite fit into the world of centers for spiritual living, and because it's kind of my retirement plan, that once I step out of the pulpit, because we have to have that, we have to be ready for that, I need to know what I'm moving into. And for me, it's all about teaching. I remember when Rita was still alive. This is a long time ago now. And I was starting my ministerial training, and I was all excited. I went, Rita, I'm becoming a minister. And she didn't have the enthusiasm I thought she had. And she said to me, that's good, but remember, you're a teacher. And so that has lasted with me, because the idea of minister, it's such a buzzword and a negative word for many people. And teacher, in the way I think of it, I don't think of it in terms of arrogance, but I think of it as a way of sharing that which motivates and moves me. I'm the kind of person, I can't be quiet when I find a jewel of truth. If I find a vitamin where suddenly I feel 20 years younger, I'm going to make sure everybody knows about that vitamin. So for me, teaching is about sharing my motivation and my inspiration. So it's no way do I think I have wisdom that someone doesn't. No way. And if I can, because I was thinking about your show and coming on here, and I was thinking about Planned Happiness Institute, and I'd like to speak to that for just a moment if I can. If we, in the metaphysical world, in the spiritual world, and the centers for spiritual living and unity, we are a larger, oh God, I wish one day we just all be the same family. We are a collection of people that believe we were born perfect. The issue becomes where we have the unconscious and some conscious influences that kind of make us sometimes forget who we are. But the Planned Happiness Institute is a reminder that you were born with that perfection. So all of my classes, my courses, my coaching is simply a reminder, a help for you to remember who you are, for you to remember your wisdom, for you to remember your divine perfection. There's nothing new out there, folks. There's no new method or technology. There is simply remembering. And so the Planned Happiness Institute is built on helping individuals who participate, who cross our path, to remember their divine and intelligent perfection. That's really what that's about. So that can take me into my years, while the Centers for Spiritual Living are something eventually I'll let go of. So that's
So you'll retire from the pulpit, but you can't retire from teaching.
I don't think so. I mean, even I don't see that ever happening. Lessening, doing it differently, like, the new book I wrote about forgiveness. Right now I want to sit home, blog, and write books. That's because my spiritual teacher died with her book in her. She had it written, but she never got it published. And even though I'm not who she was, and I'm not I'm not some of the great authors that are out there, I at least want to say I did it. I want to say that I followed through, and I have. And even the silly little initial book that I created, the sense of accomplishment. So if anyone's listening, dear God, just go for it. Because they say you have to write 3, 4, 5 flops before something counts anyway. So I'm getting close. I'm getting close to that. But I say to people all the time when they're thinking about writing a book, I'm like, don't think, just do. Little Yoda-ish, but don't think, just do it. Because that becomes, then that's your legacy. So, and it's funny, you never know. You never know who actually picks up the book. And I receive tithes sometimes from people who have been using my prosperity book, which is about to be reworked. If anybody's listening, Prosperous Me is about to become more of a workbook and, just an expanded version. But then people will send me a tithe and they'll say, oh, I've been using your book for years. And I'm like, oh, like people I don't know. And that couldn't happen if I didn't say yes to the inspiration to write. So.
Well, that's because the books don't come from you, they come through you.
Yeah. And with Kindle now, and, so some of my things are available in Kindle. My newest book, I'm not so sure if we're going to do it on Kindle because it's a workbook. So, it's something you really want to make messy. You don't want to just keep it clean on the shelf for sure.
Gotcha. So what Focus Ministry looks like to you is teaching forever.
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing is that what you teach and how you teach it is an evolutionary process.
Yeah, I don't know how you caught that, but the fact is that's true, because I say as I age, I say less and less and less. Yeah,
But you teach more and more and more.
Yeah, because I see how I could be a little quirky, and sometimes I worry about embarrassing my sons because I could be a little quirky. even the toast that I gave to my son and his girlfriend at the engagement party, I know a couple of them went, huh? But right, I say what's on my mind. But oh my God, finally being willing to let my inspiration or my words or whatever come out has created a space for me to experience greater self-love than I've ever known. And that's what I want it. That's part of what I want my legacy to be. I want my legacy to be me modeling self-love in whatever.
Oh, and that's such a wonderful segue to my next question, which is, who does your ministry, your focus ministry, your Planned Happiness Institute ministry, who does that serve? Who's the audience, and how do you reach them?
Great question. Well, first of all, I can't say it's for everybody, because that anything that's for everybody seems like it's for nobody. But very, very pointedly, if you, not you specifically, the generic you, if someone is suffering, if relationships are suffering because of broken hearts, because of judgment, because of you think someone's out to get you, very specifically, especially the forgiveness work will help those individuals. People who are not experiencing really good health. Forgiveness, folks, and I know we haven't really spoken about the book yet, the forgiveness book, but forgiveness is critical to health. Forgiveness is critical to health. And forgiveness is critical also to prosperity. Because where we choose not to forgive and where we stay anchored in our righteousness, we are tethered to our pain. And wherever we're tethered to pain and tethered to broken relationships and tethered through judgment, we are weighed down, and we're not able to fully embrace who we are. So it's for individuals who are, and I don't really like this because this is not a healthy metaphysical term, but it says it. It's for people who are sick and tired of being sick and tired. When you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, forgiveness, embracing oneself, learning to love the self changes everything. I mean, I have people in my community. I've had people in my courses from all, around the world. And the stories that I get told about what happened because they did choose to forgive. And part of that, because they chose to cease judging, because that is a critical, a very critical point in my forgiveness work, is we speak a lot about the practice of non-judgment. And with that, relationships heal, like in miraculous ways, in beautiful, beautiful, miraculous ways. I love watching it. Sometimes, you're right that the books come through you. Sometimes I feel so lucky that I just caught it. I caught this. I caught it also from my teacher. I don't have a pretty background. And if anyone chooses to buy my book eventually, when it'll be available in the next 2 weeks, my story, a piece of my story is in the beginning of my book. And there has been some friends who have read it. My social media individual who helps me, I sent a copy to her. She's also one of my forgiveness coaches. And people read the story and they've called me, because of the people that I know, quite upset. It's been hard. It's hard. It's hard. It's not a pretty background, but it's that background that qualifies me. My pain qualifies me. Right?
So what you're telling us is that you took all the manure in your background and turned it into fertilizer.
Yep. Or into lotus flowers, which is what's on the cover of my page. Yeah. And my tattoos are lotus flowers because, you have to be willing to. It's about integrating transcending. Integrating, transcending. It's not about denying or pushing away or calling it bad. It's about taking what is, integrating it, and then transcending it. That's what really my focus ministry is all about, is that activity.
And what I'm hearing you say is that this is not a technique, this is a practice. And what I mean by that is that this is not something that's ever finished.
No.
That's why I said evolutionary. This is a path that goes and grows.
Yeah. And if for the listeners, because I don't like to leave people thinking, oh my God, this will never be done. It's not like that. It's easier and easier and easier and simpler. For example, if I'm teaching compassion, I can't teach compassion. I have to be compassion, because if I'm just teaching it, then, and I've seen this, and I used to, I've trained many practitioners in my lifetime, although it's been a number of years. And I, the thing about it is becoming the lesson, because if we learn something new, so let's say you teach me a lesson in compassion, and I'm like, oh, compassion is this and compassion is that, and I have all these quotes and all this stuff, but then I go out and I judge somebody for not being compassionate. I haven't learned a thing.
No.
I have to be the compassion. And so in my teaching and in my coaching, I'm constantly encouraging the integration, so that, and the practice of non-judgment, I'm going to go back to that, because if I cease judging, then I don't create a reason to have to forgive. They're tied together. Every time I just accept somebody as they are, I free them. I free them so they could be who they are, and I free myself to be who I want to be. And so our world gets lighter. So it's evolutionary, but it's in a lighter way, where it's the spiral dynamics of life. It's spiraling upwards, integration, transcendence, integration and transcendence. And really that's what it becomes all about.
So planned happiness is directing your own becoming.
Okay.
Choosing what you're becoming,
Yeah.
and moving in the way of that.
Yeah. That's a great way to say it. Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so I have two questions I ask everybody. I'm going to ask you these questions so I don't forget, and then we'll go back to making sure we don't forget anything you want to talk about. But the first one is, and I think you've practically already answered it, how does your ministry support or expand conscious evolution?
I do, I'm going to give an example. I'm going to give what I think is an example. Sorry, the pause is me trying not to get emotional, because I don't really want to.
Emotion is allowed.
Yeah, but I have no desire to be weepy right now, because I won't be able to speak. There are many things I've cared about for a long time when it comes to humanity. And so for a number of years now, I've been doing a lot of anti-racism work. And I've been saying for years that my opinion, I do not believe we can legislate our way to equality, diversity, inclusion. I don't see that we can legislate our way there. Although legislation is required and does hold the world to a standard, that's necessary, absolutely. My way is slower, quieter, but I believe incredibly impactful. I don't mean my way like I'm the only one either, please. I'm not trying to say that. But when I work with individuals or with small groups, and someone asked me one time, what was I hoping to do? Actually, it was Tracy Brown. Tracy Brown asked me what was I hoping to do with all of my anti-racism work, and it's kind of an awkward answer, but this was my answer. I want to raise the consciousness of the people I'm engaging, and have them stop being tolerant of anti-racism. I want to raise their intolerance, believe it or not, so that there is a constant expectation that the world conform to love, that the world starts to conform to the new ideas that people like you and I bring. That it is, and you know this, and you, Reverend Sharri, and I were recently together in Unity Village, and the thing I know about when I'm out at a conference, a convention, a retreat, and especially when ministers are gathered, ministers and practitioners, or ministers, practitioners, and very conscious people, wherever we go as a group of individuals, what happens is, if let's say we go out to lunch, we go out to dinner, you can see the people around us responding differently. We walk in the room with an expectation of beauty, of kindness, of generosity, of being, of fairness, right? And so, to me, the way that we will most impact the world is to consistently impact the individual. Because when I expect the world to be different, I engage it, and my observation begins to transform how I engage it. And as we know, through the quantum fields, my expectation and my observation transforms the world as I'm observing it. So I think I'm answering the question. I think I am, right?
Not only did you answer that question, you answered the next one too, which was, how does your ministry contribute to world peace? You just wrapped them both into one beautiful, gorgeous package.
Well,
thank you very much.
You're welcome, Sharri. Sharri, a long time ago, I heard people talking a lot about, what do we have to do to fix things? We don't have to fix things. We have to heal. Because the purer I am, the purer I engage my husband, my sons, the women in their lives, my grandchildren, and they will know the presence of God through me, through how I walk in a room. They will, and each one of us, that when we walk arm in arm in this consciousness and in this behavior, we do begin to see the world around us kind of change, even if we're not actively teaching. If you are being consciousness strongly enough with a really committed essence, you change what's around you. Not every time, not all the time, but you do.
Wow. Okay, and I have one more question, because you gave it to me.
Okay.
You have something new and exciting happening in November, and November is next week, so tell us about it.
Oh, yes. Well, because in addition to believing in the healing and all of that, I'm also a great believer in a spiritual practice. I think a life without spiritual practice is a life kind of where people are meandering. And so for the whole month of November, we are in my community, but everyone is welcome. Everyone is welcome. We are inviting people to participate in what I'm calling gratitude pods. So it's
a slide or something for this, I think.
There you go. Thank you, Robert. So this gratitude pod, when you register, you'll be put together, although you can register with other people, but every person does have to register together. So I'll be with a group of only 4 people. They're only groups of 4 people. And the point is to have weekly contact with that small group so that you can practice gratitude by reminding each other of what you're grateful for and having spiritual practice around it. It's free. We'll accept donations, of course, because we are a nonprofit. But the point is to promote and this year I'm linking. I love this book, Thank and Grow Rich. This is just a recommendation. We're not selling the book, but to link gratitude with prosperity. In addition to forgiveness, if you want to raise your prosperity, gratitude is quite necessary. So yeah, I'm very excited about this whole gratitude pods, and I hope you sign up and join us and everybody on the New Thought, and it can be a groups from anywhere. And the purpose of the small groups, just so you know, the purpose of the small groups is to keep it intimate. The world is missing a little bit of intimacy right now with all that's been going on, and so and the gathering can be through Zoom, through phone call, conference call, email. Although email is never going to really do it because there is some prayer, some meditation and prayer suggested as part of the pods. So I'm really looking forward to that. This is the first year we're doing this in this way, and I'm really looking forward.
Oh, it sounds like the beginning of a wonderful tradition. I love the idea. I love it. So, last question. Is there anything at all you'd like to talk about that I haven't asked?
Well, I've dabbled, thank you, and I've dabbled a number of times now, and I've mentioned it, but I love being a practitioner. I love the sacred space of praying, treating with someone. And the work that I've done over the past, 20 some odd years with people, it became real obvious that there was some gaps in my training that I received. And I've tried to fill in those gaps as I've trained practitioners. But, the more trained you become, the more you notice the things that are missing. And so a number of years ago, what I realized is that individuals struggle to transform because they're attached to their anger and their upset. And in order to get there, there has to be a conversation regarding forgiveness. And so I started to really pay attention to that, and then decided to create a little course around it, Well, the little course that was simple, that was, I think, an hour long for 4 weeks, turned into 5 weeks, which turned into 6 weeks, which turned into 2-hour classes. So the 4-hour class is now a 12-hour class. But in addition, I kept developing the course and finding new information and such. And then finally, all of it has landed in a book. This is a terrible thing to do because I know it doesn't show.
No, it's not.
Oh, it shows very well this way. Oh,
Yeah.
The StreamYard works better than Facebook. This is the cover of the book. It'll be out in just a couple of weeks. And this book is for metaphysicians and spiritual individuals that are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And it walks you gently through the practices of forgiveness. And however, the initial story, I want to give a little disclaimer here, because people who have read the book, because some individuals had their eyes on, have been quite shocked about the initial story. I think I said this, I don't know if I said this during this hour or earlier when we were chatting, but it's the story that qualifies me, but it's a little hard to read. I even say in the book, if it's too hard, don't read that part, skip it and come back to it later on. But a heart filled with forgiveness is a good heart. It's a good heart. And sometimes we don't realize how we hold on to righteous indignation And that righteous indignation gets in our way. It really gets in our way. So that's my, my newest love, my passion, is forgiveness, the path, the promise, the way of life. It will be out very soon. And I know that I'll be back here. Reverend Robert's going to have me back, and we'll do something. But a Radical Release, by the way, Radical Forgiveness was the book I always recommended till I read my.
Great book.
It's a great book, and until I wrote my own, and now I just I really believe in the work that I've done and what I've brought together. So, I encourage you to keep an eye out for it. It will be all over Facebook, I'm sure. And so that's exciting. And the moment I signed off for them to print it, and I have a staff minister who's also a friend and a publisher, I said to him, I feel so naked. All of a sudden and of course, in the moment I sent it off, I thought how many ways I could improve it, what I should have added, what I forgot. And he said to me, most authors, or a lot of authors, will feel immediately kind of exposed and self-conscious. So it's taken a lot to be willing to put this in print. I got to tell you, not because of the story. My story is my story. It's not unique, and it's not the worst story in the world. There are people who have suffered much greater than I. The naked part is feeling worthy of putting word in print. Feeling worthy of putting word in print. That's the piece. So if someone has read the book,
that sounds to me like a really good topic for you to come back and talk again.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Christy Hardwick, she's a colleague, and I don't know her. I don't know Christy well at all on my own, but she just wrote this sweet little book called, where is it? Radical Self-Tenderness.
Ooh, I like that.
Really sweet. It's really sweet. But what I want to say to you is that when you're someone who's really been willing to do this, there's nothing lucky about putting this together. It takes a lot of courage. And although she didn't do it for that purpose, it took a lot of courage to put her words in this book. So I also recommend that book. It's very sweet. Very, very sweet.
Well, thank you so much for coming today and for agreeing to come back, because I will hold you to it.
Absolutely. I love that. I love New Thought Radio and New Thought Media. I mean, they've been a dance partner with me, and Reverend Robert has been a dance partner, and there's nothing I love more than my dance partners to play in life. So it's been wonderful.
And I hope that y'all will come and join us again next week. Our guest next week is Reverend Renee Laboa, and her ministry is called Life in Balance, something I can hardly wait to develop. So come again and see us next week. Come and see us every week, because there's something new and different and clearly exciting every single time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
On behalf of everyone at New Thought Media Network, thank you for being a member of our virtual family. Your financial contributions help share the New Thought message with people from around the world. Please visit and contribute at www.ntmedia.org/donate. New Thought Media Network. Come be you. And please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace and blessings.
Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing